Today I will a little bit. I realized that last week was a bit a lot, so I will make a recap of last week's shiur, and I will also try to go a step further and to open up a little bit to understand the controversial opinions of Rav Kook on a few subjects, which we will understand better once we'll have made this journey together. So, as we started off saying, was that originally, according to the Torah, according to the Novi, not the Novi, actually in Eoy, he says to Eoy that in tzedakto ma titen loi. What does it mean in tzedakto ma titen loi? If you will do a tzedek, you will do something good, you're not giving anything to Hashem. You don't have any relationship with Hashem. Hashem does not take any pleasure or anything from the fact you are a good person or not a good person. It does not change Hashem at all. That's the viewpoint that it's used a lot in many of the Sforim and the Musa Sforim, kind of, that there is no connection between you and Hashem. Hashem is above everything, the whole world, and it's completely disconnected. And then we saw that a lot of Ma'amar Chazal are saying not like that, and are saying that we are we can help Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to help Hashem, that when we are in pain, Hashem is also in pain. When we are in the Golus, Hashem comes with us in Golus. So basically, there is kind of a connection that whatever happens to us is kind of also happening to Hashem. And so the disconnection seems not to be complete, but there is kind of certain things that when it happens to us, or when we do things, we can actually influence Hashem. So that's the second part. This is in Chazal, many times in Chazal. In the Sefer of Sefer Aboyer and also the Tikkun Zohar, there is an expression which goes a step further, and this is Ezu Chosid HaMischaset in Koino. I use this a lot in my shiurim already, that always a chosid, somebody who makes chesed with Hashem. So we not only do impact Hashem, but also we can do a chesed with Hashem. When you do a chesed, means that Hashem misses something, and we are the ones that can provide it for him. So we can do a chesed with Hashem. That's already a next level of connection that we have with Hashem. And then after that comes the Ramban. And the Ramban, we will speak about it in next week shiur. But the Ramban is the first to actually use the word, coin the expression Tzorech Gevohah. That Avodah, Tzorech Gevohah doesn't mention the word Avodah, but it mentions the idea of Tzorech Gevohah versus Koyer Hedyot. Is the first one to actually says, Yesh be'inyan soid godol. There is a big secret in the whole V'shachamti B'soichom. It will see next week, not this week. Don't want to give too much. But there is another element which I didn't mention, Manitu's point of view. It seems to be more going back to the Rishonim and less to the Kabbalah and more to the Rishonim. But there is a thought, says the Rambam, that maybe the whole idea of the Avodah is not the Tzorech Hedyot, but the Tzorech Gevohah. That everything that we do, all the mitzvahs that we do, is the Tzorech der Rebbeinu Shalom. This is the Rambam. Big chidush of the Rambam. It's already a level higher. Rabbeinu Bechai, who continues with that, he says that it's not only there is also a Tzorech Gevohah, but Taket, the whole Avodah is only Tzorech Gevohah, v'lo Tzorech Hedyot. So basically, the whole thing that Hashem asked us to do is purely for him, for his own sake. And then he adds words, ולכך יש להם כוח לישראל, להיות מחלישים, או מוסיפים כוח בגבורה של מעלו, כפי מעשיהם. So the Rabbeinu Bechai says that we have a koyach to be machlish, to weaken, or to be moist koyach in the Gevohah shel Malo, according to our maisim. So we have the potential, the koyach, to strengthen Hashem, and our impact is very, very big on the level of how we work with Hashem. So whatever we do, it's actually strengthening or weakening Hashem. The Mekubolim took that concept of Rabbeinu Bechaya and the Rambam, and they explained with it what the Zohar is saying, that everything that we are doing is be'etzem we are miyachet the spheroids. So there are 10 spheroids, and what we are doing, they are separated, and with the mitzvah that we are doing, we are connecting them stronger. We're making the connection between the spheroids stronger and smaller, and so there is more shefa that can come from the Ein Sof towards the world, and so therefore we are helping Hashem. So basically, the idea is that the Shechina is betachtoinim. Why did Hashem send the Shechina on this world? In order to capture our maisim and to send it back up to the Elyonim, so that this connection should happen, right? So if I'm going to make a drawing, so this is the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof has all kind of spheroids that are coming down towards this world. Yeah. And this is the lowest of the spheroids, is Malchus. This is what we can feel. He's with us. This is the lowest level. This is the highest level. This is Keser. And then comes down. And the job of our Nisim, everything that we do, is trying to bring this one together and vertically right back to the one. So it's to bring everything as one, as much as possible, to bring it back towards the Ein Sof.
To play the accordion.
To play the accordion horizontally, but also vertically. The horizontal is called the zivuk. That is called zivuk because that's typical male-female, and this one is called a yichud. That's all is yichud, yeah, but it's more, when it's vertically, it means more a yichud of Hashem, meaning that we try to bring. These are all tzinoires, tubes, and the oil Ein Sof, the light of the Ein Sof, goes in the tubes and comes down. And there's a lot of tubes, horizontal, vertical tubes, yeah? So, okay? So that is what the job is, how they explain. And so that's why the Avodah Tzorech means that we are bringing the spheroids together. So far, so good. It means, in other words, this is called anomaly. This is kind of an anomaly. And what our Maisim is trying to do is to bring everything together. Yeah? Understand? It's kind of, that's why it's called a Tikkun. That's how we start speaking about the Tikkun. So what we are doing is we are metaken everything. That's the word starts to emerge from the Zohar, already speaking about the Tikkun. Because we are this is an anomaly. This Earth-Teksel, what comes out from the Ein Sof is kind of an anomaly that we have to be metaken to bring it back to the Ein Sof. And that's our job. That's how the general Tilde Ramak, Moshe Cordovero, how he explains all those spheroids, what Maisim, how can we activate those spheroids, and can we activate this spheroids to be connected with this spheroids. He gives a whole shot and every mitzvah, how it's connected, etc. So this is a beautiful explanation. The Arizal went a step further, and he took the word tikkun literally. So far, there is nothing broken. It's just something that we do better. Something comes out, and we are trying to bring it back up. Arizal, he uses the word tikkun literal. The tikkun normally is something that we fix. that was broken. So he says that there was light that came down that were kind of in a kli with stone, again the oil and kli, and a few of them at five broke. It's called the Shira Sakelim, and when it broke down, it scattered the pieces, the fragments, about that last week, the fragments shattered down into the world, and these fragments have an itzoitzes, if you want, what call it, nuclear, they have radiations, yeah, I don't know, how do you call it? No, radiation of nuclear? No, there's another word. Anyway, and so this radiation, and the idea of what our job is to do is the Tikkun of, there are about 288, not about, there are 288 pieces in the world, and our job, Hashem sent us to go and fix them and to lift. How are we lifting them up? It's prayer and mitzvahs, but also through what's doing in the day-to-day life. Sometimes when you eat some water, if you're lucky, you find or a tzaddik, when he eats, that's why when a tzaddik eats, tzaddik is like finding the nitzoitza that is in this food and bringing it up back to the original life. Okay. So we are metaphering something that was broken.
When did it happen?
That is acknowledged by the beginning of the creation. Before you can say the world, or I don't know, it's not at the beginning.
Where does it take it from?
It does not have, it's Ruach HaKodesh.
So that is before the Chet of Avodah.
It's not clear. Yeah.
It was Gan Eden then.
Yeah, it's not clear. Yeah. It must be before. There are no, in these type of things that you would notice that I will always use what my good friend Rabbi Salek used to explain. There is, you can look at things different, depends on the angle, you see the same thing in a different angle. So you can look at the car, yeah, if you look at the car, if you look on the side, you see something, but if you look on the bottom, what you see is kind of lines and then a exhaust pipe and wheels like that, yeah? And these are different viewpoints, but you're looking all the same, but nothing to do one with another. So here also, this is just a viewpoint, and what you're trying to do is, can we fit it with a Tadas? I don't know. If this is the result of the Tadas, or this is the Tadas, is kind of a symbol, metaphor for the Shira Sakelim, whatever, it's not clear. For me, in any case, for me, it's not clear. I'm sure that the Mukubal will understand it and will tell exactly how it works. But this is, actually speaking, is before. Not at the beginning. Okay. So, well, already, well, so what happens is the following, that once the human beings will have bring up all the 288 little fragments, right? Then it's going to be the end of time. That's the end of time. So we call it Mashiach or call it Achis Hayomim. It's going to, the end of time is when we have managed to bring up all the choices. Now, what can happen, and that's the problem, is that people, tzaddikim, they can bring up, but Rishoim can pull it back down. And that's a continuous, there is a continuous up and down, and in the numbers, it's like a counter that counts 232, and then 233, no, 232, it goes 232, showing, and so we're continuously going up and down in the numbers.
Donc il y a tout le temps des Shvira Sakelim.
Non, les Shvira Sakelim a été...
Non, pourquoi je dis parce qu'en français, il y a un terme qui dit j'ai pété les plombs.
Ouais.
Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire, j'ai pété les plombs?
Yeah.
J'ai essayé de faire quelque chose,
Ouais.
j'ai fait vraiment mon possible, mais à un certain moment,
Ah,
Non,
il
c'est
y a
pas
eu-
ça.
vraiment,
C'est
j'ai
pas
pété
ça,
les
j'ai
plombs,
pété
c'est
les
que je me
plombs.
suis éclaté là.
à un
Non,
certain
yeah.
moment, j'ai pété les plombs.
C'est pas ça, j'ai pété les
Non.
plombs. Non, péter les plombs, ça veut dire que tu es entré dans une colère. Et que tu as
Colère.
fait-
Oui, mais pourquoi
tu as
je suis
fait des
rentré dans-
choses que
Oui,
rationnellement, tu n'aurais pas fait.
je suis d'accord, mais pourquoi je suis rentré dedans? Parce que
Parce
j'avais
que-
au départ, une très bonne intention.
Non,
Mais les Keilim ou les Keilim de celui qui pète les plombs n'étaient pas assez puissants pour supporter la charge.
non.
Est-ce que c'est ça l'histoire?
Péter les plombs, ça veut dire que ou, en hébreu, on appelle ça au Al-Kehapta joke.
Un
Tu
joke,
comprends?
ouais. Non, non
Il
plus,
a-
parce
ouais.
qu'un joke, il peut ça me faire une folie.
Ouais.
Péter les plombs, c'est quelqu'un qui
Non, c'est
explose.
perdre le contrôle de
Qui
soi-même.
perd le contrôle de son âme.
Ouais, c'est pas chuir à saquer.
Non, non,
Ouais.
non, 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 ce n'est pas ça. Je ne crois pas non plus. Je crois que c'est plutôt, il faut voir ça vraiment comme, we have to see it as an evolution. The reason why, according to the Arizal, he needs to explain, first of all, how come that there is evil in the world? How come the evil already existed? The Tohu Voyu existed in the beginning already. And so this is the Shvira Sakelim can explain the Tohu Voyu. Now, this is something which I thought was poshut, but apparently I didn't find it literally like that. But this can explain the Tohu Voyu. It can explain the problem that we have in the world and why the tzaddikim are the ones that are bringing back up, because they managed to find the nitzoitzes. And we have to help.
Jewish Rishonim, or
What?
when you say the Rishonim
Yeah.
are bringing it down,
Yeah.
Dafka Jewish Rishonim or any world Rishonim?
It doesn't
Sorry.
speak about that, but normally the job is for the Jew. It's a Jewish job, yes. It's a Jewish job to, it kind of seems to be saying that we, the Jews, have an opportunity to bring up. It is the tzaddik, a Jewish tzaddik eats, or when he works, or when he davens, or when he makes a mitzvah, he manages to bring up the nitzoitzes.
But if
It
this
seems like there's a
288
school for the Jews to do it.
It's definitely the Jews. If it was Goyish Rishon, we would be at minus 200.
288 is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very low number.
Yeah, so somebody asked that question after 5,000 years. I'm sure that the world has been already 288. They found the 288. So they
Oh,
explain.
so what's the odds that one individual will fall on a daily basis on
I don't know. Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
We don't understand. It's a metaphor,
Yeah.
and we don't understand what does it mean. Does it mean
Yeah.
that mamash in this that there is a mitzvah somewhere, and when I use it, I lift it up, or is
In
one
the
of the
city
200
world, in everything
everything
has some
has a mitzvah.
some crucial that you need
kedusha, yeah.
to take out.
And so I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how it works. So they explain that the 288 are categories, are groups, and then there is millions of little nitzoitzes that are sub. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a 288, and then each one of them has a lot of multitude of little nitzoitzes. It's complicated. It's how do you call it? I see it more as a way to understand the avodah, why the Hashem asked us to do certain things, and what is the school of Klal Yisrael, so that we have the opportunity indeed to lift up. So the Goyim no, the Goyim normally not. It's only the Jews. That's the job of the Jews to do it. And unfortunately, when the Jewish people are not doing the mitzvahs, then we bring back down. The whole point of that point of view is that the history on itself, and then I will go what Rabbi Yaakov David said last week, but the history on itself, according to the Arizal, does not have a meaning, right? So this is random. Some tzaddikim do, some tzaddikim don't, etc. There is no historical meaning to events. So whether there is technology or not, does not make a difference. The history of the world is completely irrelevant in that story, because we are talking about finding the nitzoitzes, and if we're not lucky, it can take a long time. If we're lucky, it can take a short time. It's not history is not really relevant. then Rabbi Yaakov David, right,
Mhm.
said that maybe, and that's what I like, maybe there is a meaning to history because maybe some of the Nitzoitzes could not be found only with the world that we are today, with electricity, with social media, with artificial intelligence. Maybe the world we need to have this particular nitzes cannot be found without that concept that we have today. And so therefore there is a meaning to history.
Maybe
Okay.
they're on the moon.
Maybe they're on the moon and we still need to go in Mars or the moon, and maybe we don't know. We don't know.
Remind me.
What? But the nitzes we don't know. But so that's where the element lies in. But normally we assume that according to the Ari, history does not have a meaning unless you go like Rabbi Yaakov David, and then history does have a meaning. Also can have a meaning theoretically. Okay, is this clear?
Yeah.
Now, the Arizal, after the Arizal came the Ramchal, and the Ramchal wrote a sefer called Mesilas Yeshorim. I hope and I guess that you all know the Mesilas Yeshorim, right? The Musa Sefer that you didn't want to learn in yeshiva, but they told you that this is the time, half an hour, 20 minutes, Kol Torah. You was in Kol Torah?
Yeah.
In Kol Torah to learn Mesilas Yeshorim, at least 20 minutes, I think after Shachris or something like that. I don't remember anymore. Mesilas Yeshorim says that the whole element of the world is Char and Oynish. That the purpose of the world is so Hashem can give you a schar v'oinish. So in other words, there is no how do you call it, a plan. Yeah, I should have started with that. I made a mistake today. So basically, there's no plan in the world. The idea is that there is schar v'oinish, and that's how Mesilas Yeshorim he writes down. So basically, there is a machine up there that has a little opening, and the shumas come down. The shumas come down in babies, yeah, and then they have about 120 years to go through life, and all the nisyonos, and if they fail, if they succeed, perfect, it's thumbs up. If they fail, it's thumbs down, and then they go to Gehenna. And it's a machine that produces a lot of neshumas. Meanwhile, in the world, how many billions are we? 10?
8, 9.
8, 9, not yet 10. 8, 9 billion. So it's quite productive machines. Somebody showed me yesterday that the machine's also not very perfect. There are some issues. What?
Only a Jew has a neshama.
Ooh la la, ooh la la. You with me, you've made a big mistake.
According to the Shas, the behemoths are the Mishum.
Yeah,
No,
sometimes you even
Nefesh.
look at the
Non, Mishum.
I remember-
quel chasse,
Je sais plus quel mot on avait.
trouve-moi une fois.
They don't even have a nefesh, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no. So in this share, we hold that everybody has a neshama, but there is a concept. The question is there a Jewish neshama as a separate? Is there such a concept of a Jewish neshama or no?
Circumcised one.
What?
The Shabbos wear two
Circumcised
neshamas.
one.
Circumcised one, yeah. The idea of saying that the Goyim don't have a neshama is something which is extremely how do you call it? First of all, it's discriminating and racistic for me personally, because it doesn't have really a makor. Neshama, everybody, all human beings have a neshama. All human beings
Hashem
have
put the ruach in them in order to make them
no, but
alive.
what does it mean that neshama? What
The
is it?
nefesh.
No, because you have the nefesh is the lowest, then you have the ruach, and then you have the neshama. Yeah. So the nefesh is, even animals have a nefesh, and ruach basically maybe also that's the emotions. Yeah. These are the emotions. These are the desires, and this is the good. What? Yeah, the good ruchnis, our capacity to think and to understand concepts and to learn, and I don't know what you want to call it. But all human beings can think and have this
On a été
capacity.
chiant sur ça, où tu n'étais pas tellement noir blanc sur ça. D'abord, même que tu as, je te cite,
Ouais.
je vais citer trois exemples. D'abord, clairement, de Midrouchim, Atem, Krebodov,
Ouais.
mais Et puis il y a le Kuzari, que tu as aussi voulu le truc, mais le Kuzari dit clairement qu'il y a une différence entre le Medaber et le Shmuel.
Ouais.
Et puis le troisième exemple, qui est l'exemple phare, que ça vient de toi encore une fois, la différence entre Sefer Bereshit et Sefer Shmois, c'est que le Ribono Shel Olam décide de passer de l'individu à un peuple.
Ouais.
Et tu nous as expliqué que la Neshama, ça vient, c'est comme une respiration, c'est une proximité.
Ouais.
Et c'est une proximité que nous on a, que eux n'ont pas.
Ok, mais encore une fois, je suis d'accord, mais quand on parle du mot neshama, lui, il n'a pas voulu parler de la neshama, c'est la façon comment le Ribono Shel Olam nous parle avec nous et qu'il nous inspire et il parlait surtout du concept. Si on parle qu'un goy n'a pas de neshama, c'est qu'après la mort, il n'est rien. Il n'y a rien qui se passe.
Correct.
C'est pas possible, ça.
Pourquoi pas?
Ok, on ne va pas donner le shir maintenant,
Ah, ok, c'est bon.
mais pour moi, c'est pas possible. Pas possible. Tous les sforim, tout le Rambam, personne ne dit.
Je veux pas être salaud, mais eux ont été criés pour nous.
Ça, ça c'est vraiment, là, tu vas vraiment contre tout ce que moi, mes propres valeurs et mes
Mais on
propres.
dit qu'on a un bon de chez lui.
Oui,
Ouais.
mais les Juifs aussi sont été créés pour toi.
Tout.
Ouais.
Pour chacun.
Oui, mais alors, c'est pareil.
Là, tu rentres dans un domaine, peut-être qu'il faudrait retrouver mes shiurim et redonner. C'est vraiment pas du tout la vision que j'ai. Mais en tout cas, in any case, the neshomas, as much as I understand, is that there is a concept of a Jewish neshama, which Kuzari explains.
Only on Shabbos where the Neshama is there.
Yeah, okay, but anyway, that doesn't prove that the Goyim doesn't have a neshama. Just there is,
But I think in the prayer there was mention of the Neshama.
yeah, of course. That's why they
No,
asked.
on-
The Or HaChaim asked the question.
Avodah Marisha,
How come that other Mauritian who they don't have a neshama and then we received a neshama on our Sinai? He doesn't understand how it works. So other Mauritian surely had a neshama, or Avram Avinu had a neshama or not? I mean, how does it work? And when did we receive a
Le
neshama?
Kuzari est très clair. Le Kuzari dit que la Neshama passait par des proutim, par des individus,
Ouais.
jusque le Ribono Shel Olam décide de passer par une nation. Il est très clair là-dedans.
Ouais.
Il dit Odom a une Neshama
Ouais.
qui passe à Chase, et puis il a toute une liste de Shem, Noyar, Shem, Ever, jusqu'à vous.
Ouais.
Et après ça, il change de programme, et il va parler à une nation et pas à des Yechidim. Et il emploie le mot de. Je pense qu'il emploie le mot que c'est Zgoula israélite. Je ne sais pas ce qu'il veut dire par là. Donc il y a quelque chose. Il y a quelque chose que non pas.
Ouais.
À moins qu'on les fasse. On les fasse, le cousin, on peut décider.
Non.
On les fasse.
Ok.
Et quand tous les Neshama c'était à Har Sinai, ça veut dire les Goyish Neshama aussi.
Alors, ils veulent dire, attends, j'ai vu hier quelqu'un m'a montré par hasard que tu parles de ça. Hier, il n'y a jamais d'hasard. Donc, quelqu'un m'a montré, dans un sefer comme ça, un chassidish sefer. Non, c'était le Yunouk ramène. D'accord, le Yunouk comme ça, comment il s'appelle, Shloime? Torah Shloime, je pense que ça s'appelle. Il y avait dans un papier, et là-bas, il disait qu'en haut, dans la machine, des fois, il y a des Goyish Neshumas qui sont renvoyés, qu'il y a des Yiddish Neshumas qui tombent chez des Goyim. Et ce sont ceux-là qui vont après devenir des Gerim. Pour ça, il explique que la machine ici, il n'y a pas d'ISO. Les ISO, comment on dit ça? Les ISO certificats, ils sont pas passés.
Parce qu'ils
C'est-à-dire
ont
que des fois, il y a des Neshumas les Yiddish Neshumas qui passent
Parce
par
qu'on
le
sait qu'un
système.
homme se marie avec une goïte, alors il y a quand même quelque chose de juif.
Quelque chose.
Et alors ça devient différent.
Ah, toi, tu veux dire ça comme ça, mais des fois, ce sont vraiment des goïms qui donnent pas
C'est
de
parce qu'il y
devenir des juifs.
avait il y a 10 générations.
Parce que, alors, ou bien c'est comme ça qu'on explique, ou bien on explique, lui, il explique que c'est quand la Neshama est tombée, c'est une Neshama juive qui est tombée dans une famille goï, alors il doit se magasin.
Comme autre.
Ou peut-être qu'elle avait comme ça je ne vais pas rentrer là-dedans. En tout cas, la vision de view was that the car and the oinish that was the whole purpose. The question was that why doesn't it continue till the end, till infinity? But that's the rule of the game, and this system can go on and on and on and on till the end of time. It doesn't need, why do we need kind of an archetyhuman? Why is there archetyhuman? If that's and the Oynish, right? A valid question. You understand the
The
question?
Ramchal himself in his Zanduma at one point does seem to touch a bit because he says when a person does good, not only does he lift himself up, that's the whole world.
The whole world, yeah. So there is kind of but he doesn't say that, and at that point, and this will happen, this will be the end of the time. So I will speak about the end of time, which is more or less in the Messiah Stone. I have not learned the Messiah Stone so deep that I can tell you, confirm to you, but it's clear that he wrote a second paper called he does mention that he retracts himself from that single point of view. He says that there is a second dimension, which is the fact that there is kind of an end. Is an end of a history. History will end, and that end will be when Hashem will decide that now is the time for me to reveal my true self. What does it mean? So he says that Hashem has shown himself in a how do you call it? In a way that you might think that there are two forces. There is the Ra, there is the Toy. And it seems like as if the Ra has its own way of going and the Toy has its own way of going. As if Chas v'Sholem, there are what we call the Chazal are very against trying to base the Shtuyos. It seems like if the Ra has its own, we even give it a name, Sitra Achra, if there is a Sitra Achra and there is the Kutshub. I don't want to try to read. But yeah, so there is a Sitra Achra and there is a Kutshub Lichu. And it seems like, and the more the Ra is, he says that the history of the world, the more that why do we have Ra in the world? But if the Ra will be stronger, and then Hashem will reveal himself, we'll realize that the Ra never existed. That there was no Ra, and everything actually comes from the. It's a bit Tzorech for me personally, but he repeats himself multiple times. I read it again, this trouble.
But that's the problem. The problem should be that.
Yeah, it should be a bit.
If we are able to understand, there's no surprise at
Yeah,
the end.
yeah.
Even the word Ra is French.
Yeah, you told this very good. Yeah. So the Ra is Rea, is from Rea, that's from friend. Positive. Normally the letters are always negative or positive. You should really go into AI, general AI, the way the organization of the words. You should really not going to give. Maybe it's another topic. Hebrew letters as well. The organization of words. Word has kind of in words are they found out that, and that's how they understand the word. That's how Gen AI, ChatGPT understands concepts. It can be very conceptual. They can realize that some words are connected to each other, and the fact that we use the same letters also makes there is a connection. Anyway, so that's the idea of the Ramchal. So Ramchal says that the more negative points that are in the world, the better. Because that means that the time comes closer. So every time there is a drop, each of those drops in the world actually will be proven that actually it was not a drop, but it was a positive. Yeah? No, it's really because then the good is also good, yeah. But
why does it mean?
Because then there is so. How can we explain this? The more the more the astonishment will be, the more that the revelation will be. Therefore, we need an astonishment, like you said. Hashem, for the reason Hashem, yeah, okay. But so in other words, the world needed a history. We have to go back and see. We have to see terrible things happen, and after we see, well, everything was good. It was the hefter was good, and etc. These are things we don't understand at all. We will realize, and then it will be the big revelation. But there must be, unfortunately, from him, there must be terrible drops in order for the world to learn. And therefore, the history of time is very important, but specifically in the drop. Clear? Oleg? The concept of Mesilas Yesharim. So the Mesilas Yesharim, what it says is that the Ra is also Torah. In other words, there are only one Shilton. So he speaks about Shilton Echod. There's only one, there was always one Shilton. That everything that even only because Hashem is a puppet of Hashem. There's only one Shilton. But why does he say that? It's because the Novi continuously says, and also the Torah, that at the end of time we'll always know that Hashem is one. That's continuously. We daven that every time. We daven in our tefillas. Everybody should know that Hashem is one. Hashem is one. Hashem is one. This is kind of this is where we want to go. And so he focused on the oneness for the Ramchal means and not two. Yeah. It's Yochid. He's a Yochid. Yeah. Echod as Yochid. בעצם משוציא, שמע ישראל השם אלוקינו, השם אחד, means Hashem Yochid. Yeah? He's only one. Comes Rav Kook, and Rav Kook says, no, the oneness, he agrees with the Ramchal, but he said the oneness is not Echod as Yochid, but Echod as complete. That Hashem is one means there's no multiple parts in Hashem. There's no missing parts in Hashem. It's one, it means it's complete. That is called the Shleimus. The Ramchal also mentions Shleimus in his Das Tunis, but the focus of the Ramchal goes on the Yochid, that there is only one. In other words, exactly the same concept. The Rav Kook uses the exactly same concept as the Das Tunis. But instead of saying Hashem is Yochid, he says Hashem is complete. And then starts a whole similar explanation for Rav Kook, is that the world has been not created to show that Hashem is one, but to show that Hashem is Sholem, that Hashem is complete. So the main goal is the completeness of Hashem.
It's a kind of correlate.
Yeah.
If you have no competitor, it means that you love everything.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they both agree, Batson, to the same similar concept. But the idea here is that where he wants to go, and this is based on a Kubel, that if something is complete, that means that there is also in the completeness, and that's difficult to understand, it's a philosophical. There is also in the completeness, there is also incompleteness. Yeah, there is also
Ra.
Yeah, and there is also Ra. Yeah, and there is also growth. That it can grow. Because if something has everything, it means that it has also, and that's a difficult concept. If you don't accept it, it's okay. But this is a concept that was developed by a certain Rabbi Eliezer Gerona, I think. Girona from Spain, where the Ramban lives. And he's the one that actually introduced such a concept, that something which is complete means that it has not only Torah, but also the Ra. Otherwise, if it doesn't have Ra, it means it's not complete. You can argue philosophically, I don't mind, but it is a point of view, philosophical point of view, that something is complete. It means that it has also potential to grow. Yeah. but it's only what we call potential. It means bekoyach. Okay, and so according to the Rav Kook, so like the Ramchal says that originally Hashem had created the Ra and the Toiv in order to prove that everything is Toiv. So Hashem also created a chisoron of the world, and he created Meitzar, I don't even want to call it Tzimtzum. He created a Tzimtzum in order to prove us that everything is Sholem and Harchova, and it's wide. Yeah. So our job is to complete the world and to make it wider and not Tzimtzum. Yeah. But our job is to come to that level where everybody will prove that Hashem will understand and will know that Hashem is complete. Okay?
Hashem wants to prove it to us,
Yeah, and
but
yeah,
we don't see it.
we don't see it today, and we will see it at the end. We will see the completeness of Hashem. It's basically more or less the same, like what he said. You can say that basically it's the same, but he's more focused on growth, that the world is growth, and he's more focused in destroying the Ra. Yeah, Ramchal is very much in the last furnace is the destruction of the Ra and turning it into Toiv. And he's more into growing, yeah, to continuously making the world a better place. It's a bit of a different approach.
So meaning it's okay to be bad, I would think.
Oh, so then we start off saying that the drop on itself is of course not good, but if after the drop you continue growing, then it's okay.
That's how the tshuva makes the bad good.
That's good. The tshuva is an opportunity for you to grow. If you had difficult to grow, maybe an opportunity. Yeah, that's why the
minus
tshuva
becomes
me'ahava.
plus.
What?
And the minus becomes plus.
No, that's Shuvah.
That's tshuva me'ahava.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You read the Tzorech Aliyah.
Yeah, I can't even see the reading of Tzorech Aliyah and everything. Yeah. So everything, that's how that's why I explained the last week. Rav Kook cannot see in anything bad. He cannot accept. But even an Aveira is turning an Aveira into another. That's what they always say. The problem is never a problem in the world. The problem is an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's also in the statement nowadays. So it's an opportunity to grow. Okay, you fell, it means that something is wrong with you. Now you know it, and now you have to start your journey of growth. And that's the.
I don't think it's correct in any way to the Ramchal. It just further developed.
Yeah.
When you read the Chaim on the Sukkah,
Yeah.
It's not correct. The Marshall of course had this in mind,
yeah,
but it didn't develop that.
It's just the word, the concepts are very different. Growth has nothing to do with turning the Ra into Toiv. It's you could maybe. It's more of a focus on it's maybe semantics. What you want to say, it's more semantical. But there is more. I'm not going to go. I feel more fundamental.
I think if at the time of the book, it felt the way to verbalize it, it's more
different vocabulary was used what needed for the job.
People understand that naturally.
Yeah.
And
at the time of Baruch, it was maybe not concrete enough. And then he spoke about growth. It's possible. I find that there is much more fundamental differences, and I'll take it with me and I'll try to show it out. Now, and I know that the time is fine. So far, so good. Yeah, we ended actually last week's shir on that, right? Now there is we always speak in Kabbalah. You will see that in Kabbalah there is always expressions that I use, metaphors that I use, which is very important, and this is oil and kalim. You will notice it in Kabbalah Sforim, where they speak about light and they speak about vessels, kalim. The understanding is, I remember from my brother, he told me that he was in a sift, and he always used to say that the Hashem is always the same, the way that we see him is we are calling it glass, colored glass. Do you remember this one? I know my brother came told me, told it to me, and it's a colored glass. So the light is white light, and then it comes out a red light. Yeah, and sometimes it's a green light. Yeah, but it's the same light behind the glass. Once it passes the glass, it changes the color, and that's how Hashem never changes. Just the glass put in front of him. That's exactly the concept of light and glass and kalim. So normally kalim means more of how do you call it, recipients that probably what do you call it? It makes it fine, take a lot of light, and it makes it concentrate into smaller light. Yeah, so it kind of condenses the light a little bit. But here it can also be used as filters. This expression of Zotochis is used by a lot of Mekubolim from early Mekubolim. They also use it as a glass, as a kalim. But this is how we can explain that Hashem is Toiv, and that from the Toiv comes the Ra and the Toiv. Yeah? How can we explain the Toiv? So they say it's only a piece of glass changes. Based on in Gevohah as well. There's a lot of Gevohah on that, by the way. Yeah?
So how do you explain that Hashem suffers with us?
No.
His goal is with us. He
That-
doesn't have to suffer because they know it's go.
Yeah, no. So that's why this is not. This is still fundamental. This is like fundamental quantum mechanics. This is not based physics of this world. This is going back to the original. How can they be the halal? To try to explain how can they be the halal differences in Hashem, different facets of Hashem, different meanings of Hashem, we want, and is inside. How can they be? But they explain it that at least we can understand metaphorically that Hashem changes its appearances to us through Kalim. And the Kalim not only they change the concept, whether it is Toiv and Ra, but also they allow us to exist. Because without Kalim it would not exist, the oil would burn everything. The oil needs a clean to cover it, to stop it, to filter it. Otherwise, we cannot exist. Okay, so they use the metaphor of light and kalim. And you will see a lot in Kabbalah with this concept of just, it's not explaining anything, it just explains up there. Okay? It's just to be able intellectually to understand that.
And
Now-
is that the same as what they call levushim?
So the levushim are the kalim. Yeah. And the oil is the inside. Yeah, is Hashem himself, kind of. And there is a lot of debate. I could worship on that. Because some want to say the Kelim are also Hashem. It's the oil and the Kelim are one. So it's also part of Hashem. It's not just then the Beis Yosef was very upset, wrote the whole Perek in one of his Kabbalah forum against these big Gedolim that made a mistake. I think the we call the I don't remember. He was a big Mekubal. And he against him because even the Beis Yosef in the time of the Beis Yosef was a big debate because when they start, that's how it goes. God comes with the metaphor, we just say it, and then this metaphor becomes a reality. And the next generation are now owners of the oil and the kalim. It's interesting how it goes. That continues. The metaphor becomes a reality. And so you have the oil and the kalim. Now, just to explain a little bit, Arizal, then we can understand how the fundamental difference the oil and the kalim. For the Arizal, the oil and the kalim, call it a lens, maybe a glass lens with colors, etc. And that comes out the light that we feel. This is what? Yeah, this is one system. He doesn't split them up. He just says there is an oil and a Kelim. But in reality, if we continue with the metaphor, light you can increase and decrease. You have a button that can increase and decrease light. Yeah, the intensity of light. You can switch off a light. From 0 to max. Yeah, Hashem can switch off light. That's how they explain it. Sometimes Hashem switches off and it switches back on. It means when it switches off, it's Ra. When it switches on, it's Tzorech. That's how they want to explain. But also here, you can change in color. I don't know if you change with the color. You can change in size. You can change in opaque, less opaque, more opaque. Yeah, to let the light through and not through. So you have a lot of also parameters that you can change here. Yeah, a lot of the buttons to turn.
So when you say Hashem is doing every day, chaque jour la même chose ou chaque jour différent?
Je vais donner un chien là-dessus, et c'est encore tout à fait autre chose. Ouais. Je vois pas ça là-dedans, mais peut-être bien. Mais moi, je vois pas ça là-dedans. Moi, je vois ça plutôt, Hachem maintient la constante de la nature. Aujourd'hui,
So what does it change?
Light is not a physical light,
No.
it's a spiritual.
spiritual light.
When you
Check.
take my revelation, it's rather physical.
Physical life is part of master.
Yeah, but we
But
don't
this is
speak.
even
This is
before.
spiritual.
This is even before masturbation. This is as I explained you the concept of how can it be that Hashem is upset now and not, and then he's happy now, and how can it be that Hashem changes mood, and there is this multitude of Hashem starts from an Ein Sof here, and so what it doesn't change. So his light does not change. Its field does not change, but only the light and the Kelim he can adapt, and that's how God changes in the world. That we can keep Hashem. Now, the Arizal, he's considered that as one. This is one system. Comes next generation, and they say, hey, this one and two. The oil is one way of Hashem, the way that Hashem runs the world, and the Kelim is the second way that Hashem runs. So basically, what I want to say is,
Who are these second generation?
Ramchal, and then comes. He said that the world is run on two different dimensions. I want to say the oil is the long-term plan. We are now here, and Hashem wants the world to get to. Kelim is the everyday judgment that we have the Schar Ba'onish. They explain that the Kelim are the part that Hashem judges the Mishpach. It's what we call the Mishpach. And here there is what we call the long-term vision of Hashem, where he brings the world to a certain point. Yeah? Okay? Right? It's more or less. And so they say that these are symbolized by oil. This is the Kelim. The Kelim are the ones that block. No, 1 second. We have to deal with the life now, and Hashem is running our life today. There is a second way of Hashem running the world, and this is the long-term view of Hashem. The whole idea, this is the point that if you want to remember one thing from this shiur, is that the only thing that I'm going to write now is that Hashem runs the world, that if this is the beginning of time, this is the now, and this is the end of time. So Hashem runs the world with a particular, with a long-term vision, and also with a day-to-day view. And those two are related to each other, but doesn't have to be. Yeah, that's how Kook and also Ramchal explains the tzaddik v'ralo. Tzaddik, when he does tzaddik, and should receive something good, but sometimes there is a second dimension, which is the long-term dimension, which course, Hashem would say, no, I can't give you that because it does not fit in my plan to bring the world where I want to bring to. So you are part of the cloud. This is called the Tikkun Kloli, by the way. There is Tikkun Kloli is this. This is called the Tikkun Kloli. And that is for parents, same problem. All here parents all have the same problem. We have the short term, the child did something good, we're giving him a. But then at some point we are realizing that on the long term, maybe it's not a good idea. And therefore suddenly we change our behavior to him. And he doesn't understand what's going on. I did good and you don't give me. No, because there is also sometimes we think of the long term. That's the two dimensions that sometimes are not fitting with each other. This is called the oil, according to Ramchal and to Rav Kook, and this is called the kelim. This is the part of the kelim. Okay. So the way that Hashem runs the world is not only in schar v'oil, but also based on a bigger plan. And sometimes the bigger plan overrules the schar v'oil. The bigger plan always overrules. Hashem has a bigger plan. And when it fits, the schar v'oil that fits with a bigger plan, then he's going to do it. And otherwise, he's not going to do it. Not on this world in any case. Is this understood, that concept? That's how they explain the idea of the difference between schar and knowledge and Hashem's having a bigger plan for the world where he wants to go. Now, continues further. Therefore, he says that you can have, that's where I think his controversial idea, that's quite dangerous. He says there is a tzaddik nigle, and then you have a tzaddik nis. Tzaddik nigle is somebody who does everything that he has to do. Follows Torah mitzvahs, no problem. He doesn't steal. He does everything that has to be
Communicate to whom?
to us.
Yes. But tzaddikim, they don't.
No, but I mean to say that you wouldn't see them going smoking cigarettes on Shabbos.
Yeah.
Yeah, but tzaddik somebody who actually he does not follow these. He brings the world to understand, to bring the world to glory.
Yeah. So it happens at the right time.
Probably he doesn't know himself.
Yeah.
So no, this is already where you start arguing, yeah. But you understand there is a tzadnista. And the tzadnista means somebody that helps Hashem in the bigger picture, in the oil.
Could be everyone.
To be everyone. And I think personally that this is the beginning of when you start realizing that maybe the Chilonim, and the recorded but have to be by control the recording, but maybe that's the beginning of where he understood the Chilonim, the Tzionim, who actually created the state of Israel, that brought the Tikkun HaKloli, that bring in Tikkun HaKloli, that they are of a higher madrege actually than the Tzaddikim Nigli.
Yeah,
It's possible that it comes from that perspective, because he says that this is more important than this.
And is that what they call Ascot Gevohah?
Yeah, that's why, because of the Ascot Gevohah, we refused to create the state. The Chilonim took it on their hands and they created the state. And so therefore they have not done in 40 years or 20 years what we could not achieve in 2,000 years.
But then, for instance, the guy that killed the Sarajevo is tzaddik nista because he had something like that.
Something like that. So everybody who brings the world to a better, who helps this in that dimension. It's possible.
Parler de la coupe. La coupe dit tout à fait dans c'est tellement impressionné par le créateur, par le bénéfice, que peut à ne pas faire et ne pas observer.
Ouais.
L'autre, en vérité, il est moins impressionné.
Ouais.
Puisqu'il est moins impressionné, et il donne un exemple impressionné, puisqu'il est moins impressionné, il peut plus.
Ouais.
Ça veut dire que, et c'est juste à l'envers. C'est-à-dire, au plus que tu es impressionné du œuvre, au plus tu es bloqué dans ton œuvre.
Ouais.
C'est comme un de bois que tu mets dans le feu, il brûle directement, il est pas impressionné par le feu, il peut pas. C'est pas une grande bûche. En plus, ça brûle.
Ouais.
Alors, il dit, ah, il est nul. Ça va brûler. Mais quand elle va brûler, alors, ça sera beaucoup plus grand.
Ouais.
Et cette comment tu vas l'habiller, ça, mais ça.
Rav Kook est tellement compliqué que chacun voit dans Rav Kook son propre façon de voir. Ça, c'est une
Oui,
façon
mais
de
là,
voir.
mais ça, c'est ce que tu dis, Moïse, c'est vraiment quand même que à la fin, tous les deux, le but, c'est que la bûche et la brindille qui brûle. Donc, ils vont dans le même sens.
Non, mais
Là, le
Ils
Sadiq
vont dans le
Nestor,
même sens,
le
mais
Sadiq Nestor, il peut aller dans l'autre sens.
oui,
Il
mais
peut,
ce qu'il y en a, c'est
ça peut être quelqu'un qui va dans la rue qui dit Shabbos,
oui, mais c'est des
il
gens.
faut pas faire Shabbos,
C'est
il faut
vrai.
pas faire Brisbane. C'est quand même un Sadiq Nestor parce qu'il aide quelque part le master plan. Il brûle pas, la bûche, elle brûle pas, c'est ça qui est plus
Il
difficile.
faut expliquer que c'est
Ouais.
typologique. C'est deux sortes de gens qui ne se comprennent pas. C'est vrai, eux prennent la même autoroute. Mais eux ne se comprennent pas.
Ouais.
Ils font la même chose, ils vont dans le même chemin, mais ils ne se comprennent pas. Parce qu'un est trop impressionné et l'autre n'est pas assez impressionné.
C'est très joliment dit. J'aime bien ça, ouais. En tout cas, ça rentre dans la même logique. Ça rentre dans la même logique. C'est un tzaddik qui amène le monde vers un meilleur monde. C'est pour ça que je crois que la personne qui a découvert la médecine, qui a découvert comment ça, le nom, les vaccins, qui a amené le monde ensemble vers la. Et puis, il y a les gens qui font jour le jour, qui font en sorte qu'il n'y ait pas du vol, et mais qu'on ne les fait pas, et qui font qu'il y a un Seder. Il appelle ça c'est le Seder, faire le monde en un Seder, et qui soit d'après le Din, le Mishpot, et pas correct. Ça, c'est la partie de Kélim. Et la partie de Ur, c'est avoir un plan long-term vision. Tous les managers ont ce problème. Il y a le daily day, la personne qui fait son travail, mais la boîte doit aller dans une autre direction. Sorry, je dois renvoyer. Mais le travail est super. Il n'y a pas besoin de le renvoyer, mais nous avons un plan. Et le plan du don't fit plan. C'est typiquement, on est tous les jours confrontés avec ce genre de problèmes, de dilemme. Et ça, le Coinchon a le même dilemme. Constamment, il a un plan, et d'autre part, il y a des cas où parce que non, le pauvre, il a tout fait, ça s'en fait de faire. Et c'est pour ça qu'il ne peut rien faire. Oui. C'est un peu la vision, the vision of Cook. There is another vision, which is, I think.
Pourquoi alors un Matteo une challenge pour le
Ouais, parce que dans la part, après la mort, il n'y a plus de mouvement. Donc, les personnes après la mort ne font plus partie de ce mouvement. Après la mort, il y a tout le monde qui parle de ça. Mais dans ce monde, ça entre dans le plan aussi avec le big plan. Dans ce monde.
Et donc, le Tzaddik Nestor, il n'est pas puni pour.
Je ne parle pas de ça. Ça m'a expliqué qu'il y a des gens qui vivent avec ça dans leur tête, des gens qui vivent avec ça dans leur tête. C'est venu de là où on sait l'ouverture vers même pour nous des Rishonim, qui en fait ont été, ça donne ça a donné l'ouverture pour pouvoir aussi justifier son amitié aussi vers des gens qui ne sont pas des Shabbos, mais quand même qui ont écrit des livres, la poésie ou la musique, etc.
Mais ça, l'amitié, en tout cas, on doit avoir l'amitié pour qui.
Ouais, mais l'accepter comme
Accepter comme il est sans essayer de lui faire tout.
Ouais.
N'essayez pas de.
Non, non, il a bien dit. Mais ça s'appelle un tzaddik. Bon, c'est ça qu'il arrive vers cette notion. Tout le monde qui fait le monde, qui crée, qui rend le monde, qui amène le monde vers un meilleur monde. Et c'est ça le problème avec la réalité, c'est que est-ce que nous on amène le monde vers un meilleur monde? C'est ça la question vers nous. Je comprends que c'est pas. Peut-être que oui, mais des fois je me pose la question.
On parle de deux sortes de neshumas différentes. Là, la neshuma, parce que ça, vous savez, dans son élan, si quelqu'un qui n'est pas dans cet élan, il doit être puni parce qu'il n'est pas dans l'élan qui peut avancer. Et tu as les super, comme tu as les super dans l'espace, et parfois, le Ribbon Shalom pour faire avancer le monde, pour qu'on ne pas passer longtemps avec du là, on voit comme ça, avec des toiles filantes, va faire quelque chose de très grand, mais cette personne-là, quand il voit les gens alliés, hein, voit les textes alliés, c'est pas qu'il veut enfreindre la loi, il ne comprend pas ces gens.
Ouais.
C'est une sorte de gens qui ne comprennent pas ces gens et ça fait ça le tout.
Ça veut dire que ça, c'est déjà en interne de la personne. Quand tu dis que
Il ne comprend pas l'autre.
ne comprend pas. Ça fait partie de son échaume. Et lui, il est plutôt dans le long terme de mener le monde vers un meilleur monde. Et l'autre, il est plutôt dans les détails, dans les détaillistes, en fait. Il appelle ça aussi, en fait, ça c'est, si tu veux, un peu la religiosité. C'est bizarre parce que ça contredit un peu ce qu'on vient de dire. Et ça, c'est plutôt la science. Il fait toute une idée de la science et de la physique. Et ça rentre dans ça. Ça, c'est quelque chose qu'on a besoin de notre vie pour comprendre ça. Quelque chose que nous, on ne peut pas comprendre de nous-mêmes. Et ça, c'est aussi, ça c'est très joli. En fait, je vais très très vite maintenant, mais l'être humain, il aime bien la musique. C'est quelque chose qu'on ne sait pas comprendre. Et en tant que docteur, pourquoi c'est-à-dire qu'il y a quelque chose de très profond dans l'être humain et avec la musique et ressort cette profondeur de l'être humain. Quelque chose il y a aussi dans le Gevohah, il y a ça c'est l'oeil, c'est la personnalité très profonde de l'être de Gevohah, comme chez nous. Il y a tout ce qui est connaissance, le rationnel, c'est plutôt les Keilim. En fait, les deux se trouvent chez le Gevohah. La science et la religiosité, les deux se trouvent en haut de le Gevohah. C'est ça qui défend aussi l'étude de la science. Il est fort pour ça. Ça s'appelle le Chulin. Le Chulin, et ça c'est le Kedusha. Il marque là-dedans. Il y a le Kedusha, c'est tout à fait en haut. Le Gevohah dans le Olam Atzilus, c'est le monde tout à fait en haut. Il y a le Oil, il y a le Kelim, ça c'est la science, le Chulin, ça c'est la Torah et le Kedusha. Et en fait, les deux viennent tout à fait de très très en haut. Et ça veut dire que quand nous, on dit, ouais, c'est vraiment du Chulin, on commence à on rejette quelque chose qui a de tout en haut.
Ce que je ne vois pas dans l'école, on appelle le goy.
Ouais.
Ça m'énerve au plus haut point. Pourquoi on doit faire ce cadeau au goy?
C'est pas vrai.
C'est pas.
C'est profond.
En hébreu, ça dit bien.
Madar.
Donc, la date est Hachem.
La date est Hachem.
Alors, il y a 5000 ans, il y a 3000 ans, il n'y avait pas de Madar. Alors, on croyait dans Hachem pour ce qu'il faisait. Maintenant que les gens ne croient plus, ils croient seulement dans le physique. Alors, via le physique, via la médecine, quand quelqu'un est né, je ne dois pas te dire, on voit la science, on voit Hachem.
Exactement. Exactement ça que lui, il prétend, ça ne dit pas là, mais il prétend qu'à la Yeshiva, on a abandonné la science et que nous, les Juifs, on a abandonné la science s'est révoltée. La science s'est révoltée. Il a dit, mais non, c'est now is my time. Maintenant, moi, je prends une révolte. Non, le temps où la science va se développer, parce que nous, à la Yeshiva, on a abandonné. Pas encore des scientifiques. Le Ralbag était un grand mathématicien connu dans le monde des mathématiques, etc. Mais avec le temps, on a abandonné la science et les goyim et les non-religieux ont pris la science et on prend le savoir et étudie le bon Dieu, les kélim du bon Dieu.
C'est pour ça qu'on dit reconnaître la Goïta.
Amen. Exactement. Et c'est en fait une chose que nous avons négligé, malheureusement. Parce que d'après lui, on a cru qu'on n'a fait pas partie du rebond du problème. C'est quelque chose, c'est à l'extérieur. Non, c'est à l'intérieur. Dans la petite même, il y a le oil et le kélim. Et les deux sont là. Et un ne peut pas être sans l'autre. Les deux sont là. Je me demandais
Mais comment il explique que c'est une boucle? Qui dans le
ah, je sais
Le beau qu'on peut.
pas qu'un juif, on le
Le beau qu'on peut prendre.
c'est Cholak?
Gevohah, mais
Non, c'est Cholak, ça c'est pour.
On le voit, hein.
Non, non, ça c'est pas le micro. Mais le.
Ah. C'est une bonne remarque.
C'est scientifique. Après, on apprend que c'était écrit dans la Gemour.
Ouais, bon, ok. C'est
Ah.
ça que la ton
Qui a
temps de
inventé
Chazal
la pénicilline, on a trouvé ça qu'il a pris l'agrégat
de la Gevohah
de
même.
la Gemour.
חכמי אומת העולם,
Ouais.
שלא שם מחוכמות של לבוא תורתו. חכמי ישראל שיכול להכניס חוכמות של ילדים.
Ouais. C'est que là, on rentre de nouveau dans la différence entre les Juifs et les Goïs. En tout cas, en fait, c'est ça qui Rafouk était très fort. Donc, ça veut dire que pour Rafouk, mon Dieu gère le monde probablement. Il y a deux dimensions. Il y a le long term et il y a le short term. Et toi, si ça marche, on le temps mieux, sinon, le long term qui va décider. Et puis, il y a le destroyer lesquels on peut le départir du Artibus. On néglige le Kelen et on focalise beaucoup sur le oil. Raison probablement pour les et qu'on parle pas de rouler, on parle pas et comme vous voyez, nous on va commencer avec le oil et tout ça c'est à partir du Kelen. Avec l'autre c'est un peu court. Bon, j'espère que ça a été pas trop. C'est mieux avec un duel, je crois. En tout cas, la semaine prochaine, je voudrais parler sur une troisième approche beaucoup plus simple, beaucoup plus jolie, d'après moi, parce que c'est encore faux. Et celui de Manitou. La troisième qui est beaucoup plus simple, qui va être basée sur la flash de la semaine. Donc, je rentre de l'histoire, on va développer. Il y a Omer qui m'a montré un autre. Et après l'avoir déjà trouvé sur Manitou, mais en fait, il m'a montré un autre. Incroyable. La semaine prochaine, on va développer cela. Donc, et là, encore tout le temps, c'est très God-centric. En fait, pourquoi on le fait? C'est pour rendre le bon Dieu heureux pour qu'il lui puisse aller de là à là. C'est-à-dire que c'est pas juste pour le bon Dieu.
avec.
Quoi? Avec. Nous, on est celui qui le faisons. C'est-à-dire que c'est surtout, nous, on aide le bon Dieu à atteindre son objectif. Tout à fait. Ouais. C'est-à-dire que ça nous donne un but et une motivation. Comprendre cela. Mais la semaine prochaine, on va voir, on va changer tout. Tout va être à l'inverse. Simple. Adesso territorio dans le Homesh. Ça, c'est encore très. On sort ça, où est là, en fait. Ça manque encore beaucoup de sources en théorie. Ce qu'on peut trouver, mais. OK? Tzorech זה כולו שלמה במהרה בימינו אמן.
Vous, je l'ai vu tout ça à la fin de la 6e semaine. Et on recommence.
Ouh là, tu dis qu'on recommence.